Many believe that the fire of Dios exists only to consume. They look upon the flames of their trial and see nothing but an ending, a final, smoldering ruin where their hopes and dreams once stood. They feel the scorching heat, not as a forge, but as a furnace of destruction, threatening to reduce all they hold dear to ash. This profound and tragic misunderstanding of the divine process, my friend, is a heavy burden on many souls. For the fire he allows is not a fire of annihilation. It is a fire of purification. It is not meant to turn you to ash, but to burn away all that is not eternal, all that is not pure, all that cannot be carried into the promised land he has prepared for you. You have felt the intense heat, you have seen the choking smoke, and you have wondered in the long, desolate nights if you would even survive until morning's first light. And I am here today not as a mere man speaking his own fallible opinion, but as a humble messenger of the Most High. I am sent to deliver a divinely appointed word that will not only quench the raging flames of fear in your soul, but transform their very nature. The lifting has begun. There comes a specific appointed moment in the life of every soul who walks steadfastly with Dios when the deafening silence of heaven finally breaks. It is a profound, earth-shattering moment when the storm that has raged for so long, the relentless winds of affliction that have beaten relentlessly against the very foundations of your faith, begins to bow in humble submission before a still, small, yet infinitely powerful voice. I ask you today not to listen with your physical ears, which have grown accustomed to the incessant noise and clamor of your struggle, but to listen with the deepest chambers of your spirit, which has been longing with an unutterable ache for this very sound. Because Dios is speaking something directly to you, a word so potent, so life-altering, that the enemy of your soul has worked tirelessly with every ounce of his malicious cunning to keep you from ever hearing it. Your relentless pain has tried to shout it down, to drown it out with its agonizing cries. Your overwhelming circumstances have built towering walls, brick by painful brick, to muffle this sacred sound and prevent its truth from penetrating your heart. But you must hear it now with absolute, unshakable clarity, resounding deep within your inner being. Dios says, this is the end of your tough time, not because you have earned it through your own merit or effort, but because he in his infinite boundless mercy has sovereignly decreed it. The affliction, though agonizing, has now served its precise and holy purpose. The pain, though piercing, has completed its specific divinely assigned mission. The countless tears you have cried, that seemed to fall into an empty, uncaring void, were not wasted. They have in fact watered the fertile soil of your spirit, preparing it for something glorious. And now, precisely now, is the time for the harvest. You must understand, with every fiber of your being, that when Dios speaks, the very fabric of reality itself, the foundational structures of creation, instantly realigns and reconfigures itself to his authoritative living word. Chains do not simply weaken over time. They shatter into countless pieces in an instant. Time does not just idly pass, it responds with urgency to his command. Seasons do not merely change with the natural cycles, they shift dramatically and definitively in immediate obedience to his omnipotent command. Doors that were sealed shut by the strongest efforts of man and the most insidious schemes of demons now swing wide open on their hinges with no human hand touching them. Hearts that were broken, fragmented, and seemingly beyond repair become miraculously whole again, restored to a state of peace and completeness. I have not come to you today to engage in theological debate, nor to ask for your agreement based on human logic. I am here as a postman, bearing not my own message, but delivering a sealed, unalterable letter directly from the throne room of heaven itself. And the irrefutable, glorious message contained within is this: your suffering has an expiration date, a divinely appointed termination, and that date, by the power of the living God, is today. What the enemy maliciously sent to utterly destroy you has only served, in God's sovereign plan, to refine you. I remember vividly a man I met many years ago, his face etched with a grief so profound it seemed to pull him towards the very dust. His thriving business had crumbled to nothing, his once stable family had fractured into painful pieces, and his robust health had failed him, leaving him frail and weary. He told me, with tears streaming uncontrollably down his weathered cheeks, "Pastor, I feel like Job, but without any hope of restoration. The fire has consumed me entirely, leaving nothing but ashes and despair." He believed the fire had robbed him of everything. Yet as Dios, in his unfathomable grace, began to work miraculously in his life, he slowly but surely came to see with new spiritual eyes. He understood that the fire had not destroyed the man of faith within him. Instead, it had powerfully destroyed the pride that had subtly seeped into his heart, the self-reliance that had whispered lies of independence, and the false idols of success and comfort he had unknowingly built around himself. What emerged from those excruciating ashes was a man of an unbreakable, unyielding faith, a man whose profound and authentic testimony would later bring hundreds, if not thousands, to the saving grace of Jesus Christ. What was specifically meant to break you, to crush your spirit beyond recognition, has only powerfully revealed how you unbreakable Dios divinely made your spirit. You are not a fragile reed. You are forged in an eternal refining fire, purified and made strong for His purposes. People may have turned their backs on you in your darkest hour, whispering words of judgment or simply walking away. Your circumstances may have felt like a constant, relentless betrayal, each new setback a fresh wound. But there is a truth, my dear friend, that stands absolutely immovable, like a majestic ancient mountain that cannot be shaken even by the fiercest, most earth-shattering earthquake. Dios has never, not for a single fleeting moment, left your side. He has been closer than your very breath. He has meticulously seen every single tear that fell silently in the darkness of your nights. He has carefully counted every sleepless night you spent wrestling with the heavy chains of fear and anxiety. He has heard every desperate prayer you thought had vanished into an empty, unresponsive sky. What you mistakenly perceived as divine silence was in fact divine preparation, a sacred work being done behind the veil of your understanding. What you tragically mistook for frustrating delay was a sacred strategy meticulously unfolding in the heavenly realms, perfectly timed for your ultimate good. And now Dios is powerfully stepping into the visible realm of your life to declare with a voice that is mighty enough to part the deepest seas, a voice that commands the very elements: the wilderness season is over. This is not your defeat, far from it. This is your turning point, a sacred pivot, a divinely appointed shift that was orchestrated and ordained by Dios Himself before the very foundation of the world. Do not imagine for a single moment that your Heavenly Father is a distant, aloof spectator passively watching your intense struggle from a far-off, unconcerned throne. No, my friend. He is leaning in so intimately close, so profoundly near, that you can almost feel the warm, life-giving breath of His Spirit upon your weary, burdened soul. He is drawing near with intentionality and compassion, reaching down to lift the crushing burden that has slumped your shoulders for far too long, that has weighed down your very spirit. He is reaching His powerful, merciful hand into the ashes of what was, into the wreckage of your painful past, into the very dust of your broken dreams, and He is breathing new fire, the holy, cleansing, empowering fire of the Holy Spirit, directly into your future. Our Dios is not a God of random, indifferent chaos or cruel, arbitrary chance. He is the masterful architect of all seasons, the divine artisan who appointed the sun its precise course across the heavens, and the countless stars their eternal perfect place in the vast cosmos. And the season you are now stepping into with divine purpose and profound significance is not defined by what you have sorrowfully lost, but by what you are about to magnificently gain in His name. It is a season brimming with supernatural recovery, divine restoration, and an unprecedented overflowing abundance. Let me assure you, with the deepest conviction, your pain was not in vain. Every pang, every ache, every moment of suffering has been recorded and redeemed. The waiting, though excruciatingly long, was not wasted time. It was a period of unseen growth and divine cultivation. The season of isolation, though profoundly lonely, was not an empty void. It was a sacred space where Dios could do a deep work in you, away from distraction. Every single second of your suffering, every silent tear, every whispered prayer was known and meticulously measured by a loving, compassionate Dios. He has stored every moment of your trial like precious, fertile seeds, waiting for the precise appointed coming of His life-giving rain. And I hear with an undeniable spiritual certainty the sound of a mighty downpour in the Spirit. The spiritual drought is over. The heavens are breaking open. Dios is about to pour out a blessing so immense, so utterly unexpected, so breathtakingly abundant, that the enemy of your soul will be utterly bewildered, left powerless to comprehend it. It will be a blessing that overflows the very banks of your life, spilling out and touching everyone around you, transforming your sphere of influence. For far too long, you have lived under the suffocating, oppressive shadow of fear, a constant companion that whispered lies and limited your potential. For far too long, you have allowed the insidious whispers of the accuser to make you question your inherent worth and identity in Christ, to doubt the very grace that defines you. For far too long, you have walked with a spiritual limp, pretending to be whole, presenting a brave face to the world, while you were quietly breaking apart on the inside, your soul aching for healing. But I declare to you today, with the authority of heaven, no more. This is not a day of defeat. It is the absolute turning of the tide. This is not a funeral for your cherished hopes and dreams. It is a resurrection, a powerful bringing back to life. Dios is breathing His life-giving Spirit, His very essence, into the parts of your life that looked utterly dead and buried, beyond any hope of revival. He is powerfully calling forth the dreams that you sorrowfully laid to rest years ago, believing they would never see the light of day again. He is miraculously resurrecting your faith from the dust of bitter disappointment, igniting it anew. He is restoring your strength from the ashes of weariness, making you robust once more. And He is drawing forth your hope from the very grave of despair, illuminating your path forward. This is not the end of your road where you simply give up. It is the great turning, the breaking of stubborn generational chains that have bound your lineage, the lifting of inherited burdens that have weighed down your family for decades. It is the beginning of something so sacred, so divinely orchestrated, so perfectly aligned with heaven's will, that even the intense pain of your past will finally begin to make profound and glorious sense. Dios does not permit suffering without a glorious redemptive purpose, and He never declares an end to a trial without meticulously preparing a magnificent new beginning that far surpasses anything you could have imagined. You may not feel ready for what is to come. You may look around at your present circumstances and still see the mess, the disarray, the lingering remnants of the spiritual battle that has just concluded. But that, my friend, is precisely where divine transformation truly begins its miraculous work. Dios does not wait for you to have it all together to achieve perfect composure or solve all your problems. He is not looking for a clean, tidy, problem-free life to begin his profound work of restoration and rebuilding. He purposefully steps into the very ruins of our lives, into the rubble of our failures, into the chaos of our brokenness, and he rebuilds from the ground up, meticulously, powerfully, perfectly. He does not need your perfection. In fact, it is your vulnerability and brokenness that he often uses most powerfully. He only requires your humble surrender, your willingness to let go and let him work. He does not ask for your dwindling strength, for he moves most powerfully, most visibly, most miraculously in your weakness. It is at the very moment you come to the end of yourself, when you finally release your grip on control and admit with utter honesty that you cannot go on alone, that you begin to witness the awesome, undeniable power of Dios move on your behalf. Not because you are powerful or capable in yourself, but because he is infinitely powerful and utterly capable. He is not impressed by our frantic human efforts, our ceaseless striving, or our attempts to earn his favor. He is profoundly drawn by our humble dependence, our childlike trust, and our sincere cry for his intervention. And right now, in this very sacred moment, if you can open the door of your heart just a crack, just enough to allow this potent, life-altering word to enter, if you can genuinely believe that Dios is speaking this powerful promise over your life, then everything is about to dramatically shift. This is not about fleeting emotional hype or temporary superficial excitement. This is about the unshakable, unchanging character of Dios himself, the bedrock upon which all truth stands. He is not a man that he should lie. His word is eternal truth. When Dios says a thing is over, it is irrevocably over. When Dios closes a chapter of your life, whether it was joyful or painful, no man, no demon, no power in all of creation, visible or invisible, can ever reopen it. When Dios lifts you out of the fire, having brought you through it, no force in hell, no whisper of the enemy can drag you back down into those destructive flames. You have been through the fire, but like the 3 Hebrew children in the biblical account, you were not consumed. You walked through the flood, the overwhelming waters of adversity, but you did not drown. You were carried through. And now, my friend, after all you have endured, it is your divinely appointed time to walk into peace. Not the fragile, fleeting peace the world offers, which is often merely the temporary absence of conflict or trouble, a superficial calm, but the profound supernatural peace of Dios, which truly surpasses all human understanding, all logical explanation, all worldly comprehension. It is a peace that stands guard like a mighty sentinel over your heart and mind, protecting them even when circumstances are raging chaotically around you, when the storms of life are at their fiercest. It is a peace that settles deep in your soul, an unshakable assurance that whispers, I may not know what tomorrow specifically holds, but I know with absolute certainty, Wedo's tomorrow, and he is faithful. Dios does not change. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He does not sleep nor slumber. He does not forget his sacred promises, and he never fails, not once, not ever. If he has allowed you to come this far, through so much intense pain and so many harrowing trials, it is not because he is finished with you yet. There is still a magnificent purpose knit into your very bones, etched into your DNA. There is still a holy fire in your soul, waiting to be kindled into a blazing inferno. There is still a future glorious and unimaginable that only Dios can perfectly write for you. Tough times do not signify the absence of Dios. On the contrary, they signify the preparation of Dios, a purposeful shaping for something greater. And the fiercer the battle you have endured, the more glorious and resounding the breakthrough will ultimately be. You did not endure all of this, all this anguish and struggle, only to come out empty-handed, barren, and defeated. You did not cry all those countless tears through all those long, lonely nights, only to remain perpetually in a state of sorrow and despair. Dios is not cruel or distant. He is intimately involved and deeply compassionate. The inspired book of Psalms in chapter 34 verse 18 assures us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." He is your refuge, your unshakable rock, and your mighty unfailing deliverer. And His voice is thundering over your life right now, reverberating through your very being, declaring with finality, "You have suffered enough. The profound lessons have been learned. The unyielding strength has been forged. The precious faith has been purified in the crucible of affliction. And now the time of lifting, the season of elevation has undeniably come. You will rise, you will recover, you will smile again, with a genuine joy that radiates from your soul. Not because everything around you is suddenly perfect, but because Dios is immutably faithful. His faithfulness is not dependent on your fleeting feelings, which can change like the shifting sands of a desert. It is dependent solely on His eternal, unchanging character and His sacred promise, which stands firm forever. He promised in the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5, a divine assurance that echoes through time, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." He promised to be intimately close to you when your heart was shattered into 1,000 pieces. He promised to tenderly bind up your wounds, physical, emotional, and spiritual. And if Dios promised it, He will perform it without fail, without hesitation. Do not mistake the strategic delay for a denial of His love or power. Do not confuse His purposeful silence for His absence or indifference. Dios has been working diligently, meticulously, behind the curtain of your circumstances, orchestrating every detail, setting every piece into place. And now, in His perfect timing, He is about to pull back that curtain and reveal the magnificent masterpiece He has been preparing for you all along. If this word is a powerful confirmation in your spirit, resonating with truth, I invite you now to join with believers all over the world and simply write Amen in the comments below to seal this profound promise deeply in your heart and declare your agreement with heaven. Some of you listening to my voice, whose hearts ache with a deep, lingering sorrow, have lost cherished relationships that were once the cornerstone of your life. Some of you have lost jobs that provided your security, your stability, your very sense of purpose. Some of you have lost your precious peace of mind, swallowed up in the overwhelming chaos and relentless demands of life. But hear the undeniable word of the Lord, echoing with divine authority, "You are not empty, you are in fact ready." You are ready for the next glorious level of His presence and His anointing. You are ready for the hidden treasures He has stored up specifically for you, waiting for this very moment of revelation. You are ready for what 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 9 so beautifully describes, "What no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived." Your tough time has been a divine training ground, a rigorous academy designed by heaven. The formidable warrior that you have become was not built on the sunny mountaintop of ease and comfort. That warrior was meticulously forged in the fiery, oppressive valley of adversity, emerging with strength and resilience. And now that valley, with all its pain, is decisively behind you. You will look back one day soon with a heart full of wonder and gratitude, and you will not even recognize the person you once were, burdened and broken. The pain you endured, though agonizing, has made you infinitely wiser, imparting a depth of understanding that only suffering can bring. The waiting, though frustrating, has made you immeasurably stronger, building spiritual muscle you never knew you possessed. The silence, though isolating, has taught you to listen for His still, small voice above all the clamor and noise of the world. And now Dios is saying to you, with tender command, "Come forth." Like He called Lazarus from the tomb, defying death and despair, He is calling you out of the grave of your past out of the shadows of what once was. Step boldly into the radiant light of His healing. Step into the glorious, liberating freedom of His Spirit that awaits you. This is the hour. This is the moment. The tough time is over, not because you managed to escape it through your own ingenuity, but because by His sovereign grace you have conquered it, emerging victorious. And the very trial that tried relentlessly to bury you, to keep you in the dust, will now become a powerful, living testimony of your survival, a monument to God's faithfulness. The same people who doubted you would make it, who whispered that you were beyond hope, will now witness your miraculous rising with awe and wonder. The same devil that attacked you with such ferocity will now flee in terror at the sight of the profound, unshakable peace that now surrounds you, a peace that emanates from the very presence of God. Because God has fundamentally changed your spiritual atmosphere. He has shifted the climate over your life from a season of arid drought to one of refreshing rain, from a time of famine to a season of overflowing feast. And absolutely nothing, no force, no enemy, no circumstance can stop what He has begun, what He has meticulously built, what He has powerfully initiated in you. You have endured not just a random trial, but a divine proving ground, a sacred test designed to bring forth the best in you. This wasn't merely hardship, it was heaven's shaping, a divine sculpting of your character. You did not just go through difficulty, you went through the refining fire of the Almighty, and you have come out as pure, unadulterated gold, gleaming with His glory. What you could not possibly see or comprehend during those long, weary, tear-filled nights was Dawes working silently, diligently, like a master craftsman, behind the intricate scenes of your life. He was carefully, lovingly removing the people, the habits, the mindsets, and the limiting beliefs that could not and should not go with you into your next glorious chapter. He was pruning your branches, as a wise and loving gardener does, not to diminish you, but so that you would bear much greater, more abundant, and more impactful fruit in the season to come. He was strategically stretching your faith, expanding its capacity, so that it could hold the immense weight of the blessings, the anointing, and the purpose that are now rapidly approaching your life. You felt profound loss, but Dawes, with His eternal perspective, saw precise preparation. You felt frustrating delay, but Dawes saw essential development, a time of growth and strengthening. You felt utterly forgotten, abandoned in your darkest hour, but Dawes never took His eyes off you. Not for a single second, His gaze fixed upon you with unwavering love. If only you could truly see the countless dangers He protected you from, the hidden pitfalls He averted, while you were weeping, believing yourself to be alone. If only you could fully understand the powerful storms He commanded to turn away, to dissipate before they ever reached your vulnerable shore, sparing you from further devastation. His silence, though painful to you, was not neglect, it was divine restraint, a purposeful withholding for your ultimate good. His mercy, vast and unfathomable, held back burdens that your heart, in its previous state, was not yet ready to fully carry. Let this profound truth echo and resonate in the deepest chambers of your soul, becoming an unshakable foundation. The tough time was never ever about punishment. It was always irrevocably about positioning. Dawes was meticulously shifting the very ground beneath your feet, moving you to a place of greater advantage and purpose. He was closing certain doors, not to hurt you or deny you, but to lovingly reroute you with precision toward your true destiny, your divine assignment. He was removing certain people from your life, not to isolate you in loneliness, but to lovingly insulate you from relationships that would have ultimately drained your spirit, hindered your growth, and possibly even destroyed you. This was a profound and necessary divine rearrangement, a spiritual resculpting. And now, my dear friend, that sacred, intricate process is finally complete. The tears you cried that seemed to fall into the abyss have now watered the fertile soil of your future. The desperate prayers you whispered in the dark, believing they were unheard, have powerfully broken chains in the spirit realm, releasing you from bondage. The desperate cries of your aching heart have torn through the heavens and reached the very throne of grace, where they were received with compassion, and the signal has been given. The trumpet in the Spirit has sounded its clear, resonant call. The cloud of His majestic presence is visibly moving, signifying a new season, and it is time for you to move with it in faith and obedience. DOS is powerfully announcing an absolute end to the spirit of oppression that has lingered over you for far too long, like a suffocating blanket. An end to the pervasive discouragement that settled on your soul like a fine, heavy dust, obscuring your vision. An end to the relentless heaviness that clung to your chest every single morning, making each day a struggle. It is lifting now. Not by your might, not by your power, not by any human effort, but by the commanding, irresistible power of the Spirit of DOS Almighty. And hear this with a holy fire burning within your soul, igniting every fiber of your being. What is coming next is emphatically not a return to your old normal, to the predictable patterns of your past. It is not a recycled, slightly improved version of your former life. What DOS is doing now, in this very hour, in your life, will make profound sense of every unanswered question that has tormented your mind. It will powerfully silence every mocking voice, every cruel whisper that told you you would never recover, that your brokenness was permanent. It will miraculously restore the years that the locusts have eaten, the years that were ruthlessly stolen from you by sorrow, by struggle, by sickness, and by sin. And He will not restore them in small, fragmented pieces. He will restore them in overflow, in an abundance that exceeds all expectation. Our DOS is not interested in small, partial recoveries or superficial fixes. He is the DOS of complete and total restoration, of holistic renewal. He does not simply patch up what is broken. The glorious book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 5, declares with divine authority, "Behold, I am making all things new." And when He declares the end of something, it is not a mere suggestion, a gentle recommendation. It is final, absolute, irrevocable, and forever sealed in the eternal courts of heaven for all eternity. This, my beloved friend, is your divine shift. The season of aimless wandering in the desert, of spiritual barrenness, is definitively over. The season of agonizingly questioning DOS's goodness, His intentions, His very presence, is decisively behind you. The time of crippling doubt, of paralyzing uncertainty, is ending its reign. Your inner storm, the tempest that raged within your soul, is finally meeting the sovereign stillness and calming power of DOS's hand, bringing forth peace. Now is the sacred moment to rise, not in your own strength, which has been depleted and exhausted, but in the divine authority DOS has graciously given you, not with fear, which has been your constant companion, but with a holy fire ignited in your spirit, a burning passion for His truth. Stand not as a passive victim of your past, but as a living, breathing, vibrant testimony of what DOS can do with a soul that is completely surrendered, wholly yielded to Him. The Apostle Paul, a man who knew suffering intimately, reminds us in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9, that we are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. This precisely is your story now. You are rising, not without evidence of your journey, but with scars that speak louder, more eloquently than any sermon ever could. You may be walking with a slight noticeable limp, much like Jacob after he wrestled with the angel of the Lord, emerging forever changed. But that limp, that visible reminder, is a constant, powerful testament not only of your arduous struggle, but of your ultimate, undeniable victory in Dios. You are moving powerfully forward now, not because life has suddenly become miraculously easier, but because the clear, resonant voice of Dios became exponentially louder and more authoritative than the deceptive, fear-inducing voice of your circumstances. His voice is calling you out of hiding, out of the shadows of fear, out of the paralysis of doubt, out of the exhaustion of weariness, and directly into your divine purpose, into His profound and unshakable peace, and into His abundant, overflowing provision. There is a palpable divine urgency in this hour, a sense of holy acceleration. This is not the time to look back with longing or regret at what Dios has already graciously delivered you from. This is not the moment to second-guess His perfect leading or to question His divine wisdom. You cannot, and indeed must not, return to what Dios has already definitively closed in your life. You cannot reattach what Dios has lovingly and strategically severed for your own ultimate good and advancement. When He says it is over, that, my friend, is your unmistakable cue to move forward with unwavering, radical faith. Do not stay stubbornly camped in the wilderness, clinging to the familiar, when the cloud of His glory has already moved on, beckoning you forward. Do not remain entombed in the pain of yesterday's past, when Dios has clearly called you forth into vibrant new life. Yes, it was incredibly painful. Yes, it was profoundly lonely. But yes, by the grace and power of God, it is emphatically over. And what Dios is doing next in your life requires your full and complete trust, your absolute surrender to His perfect will. You must walk by faith now, not by what your limited eyes can see in the natural realm, but by what Dios, the Creator of the universe, has authoritatively spoken over your life. And He has said with undeniable finality, the tough time is finished. Let that potent, liberating truth sink deep, deep into your spirit, permeating every cell of your being. Let it become your morning declaration of hope and your evening song of gratitude. Let it powerfully silence the lingering, insidious voice of doubt that relentlessly tries to whisper lies and sow discord in the quiet moments of your soul. When Dios delivers a word, a divine promise, it becomes the solid, unshakable foundation for your very next step, guiding your every move. You do not need to understand precisely how He will accomplish it. His ways are higher than our ways. You simply need to believe. With childlike faith, walls at speaking this incredible promise over your life. The Creator of the entire universe, the magnificent One, who hung the countless stars in the vast swirling expanse of space, who intricately carved the majestic oceans with His mighty fingers, and who knows and numbers every single hair on your head. If He says your struggle is definitively ending, then absolutely nothing. No enemy, no adverse circumstance, no lingering fear, no spiritual opposition can possibly undo that divine declaration. It is already eternally written, irrevocably sealed in the everlasting records of heaven. The spiritual shift has already powerfully begun in the unseen realm, setting in motion a cascade of blessings. And now, your only task, your holy assignment, is to align your life completely with it, to step boldly forward in unwavering faith, to believe with radical assurance that your healing is not only possible, but divinely promised, to understand that the very thing that once held you down, that tried to keep you captive, will now, by God's design, become the powerful stepping stone to your greatest heights, to your most profound breakthroughs. Dios is not a man that He should lie. His integrity is absolute. He does not tease His beloved children with false hope. He does not raise your hopes only to let you fall in disappointment. If He has brought you to this very point through so much, it is because He fully intends to bring you through triumphantly to the glorious other side. The finish line of this long, arduous race you have been running, this demanding season, is now clearly in sight. And it is not just the end of a difficult chapter, it is the magnificent beginning of a powerful, undeniable testimony. A testimony that will resonate and echo through generations, inspiring countless others. A testimony that will inspire hundreds, even thousands, to hold on to their faith and believe in God's goodness, even in their darkest hours. A testimony that will make even your sworn enemies, those who doubted and scorned you, marvel in disbelief at the undeniable visible favor of Dios resting profoundly upon your life. You will no longer be known or defined by your struggle, by your pain, by your past failures. You will be known by your miraculous survival, by your unyielding resilience, by your glorious triumph. And more than that, you will be known by your beautiful, unwavering surrender to the sovereign process of Dios, allowing Him to work His will. That, my dear friend, is where the true revolutionary power lies. Not in pretending to be strong when you are weak, but in truly becoming strong by fully and completely depending on Him, relying on His inexhaustible power. Because when Dios Himself carries you out of a raging storm, when He delivers you from the clutches of adversity, the whole world takes notice, unable to deny His hand. And they will inevitably ask you, with wonder in their eyes, how did you make it? What was your secret? And your answer will not be about your personal strategy, your cleverness, or your sheer luck. It will be simple, profound, and profoundly true. Dios said it was over. Do not let the enemy, the accuser of your soul, convince you that just because you feel weary to your bones, you are inherently weak or incapable. Do not let him lie to you and say that because the pain left an undeniable scar, a visible mark, you are somehow disqualified from future service or a life of purpose. No, my friend, your scars are not symbols of defeat. They are the undeniable evidence of your survival, powerful badges of honor. They are the living proof that you were hit, you were wounded, you were tested, but you were not taken out. You remain standing. They powerfully show that while others may have given up, abandoned hope, and retreated, you courageously kept moving forward one step at a time. That while others walked away from their faith in the intense heat of the battle, when everything seemed lost, you held on, even if it was with trembling, uncertain hands, trusting in an unseen God. And now, in this very moment, Dios is honoring that holy perseverance, that tenacious grip on hope. He is not rewarding your unattainable perfection. He is powerfully rewarding your faith, your unwavering trust in Him. And even faith the size of a tiny mustard seed, when placed in the almighty, capable hands of the Almighty Dios, can move the most insurmountable mountains, shifting the landscape of your life. That mountain of sorrow that has sat heavily on your chest for so long, pressing down on your spirit, it is coming down now, crumbling into dust. That mountain of fear that has stood like an impenetrable barrier between you and your divine future, casting its long shadow, it is dissolving, vanishing into thin air. That mountain of shame that has relentlessly whispered, "You will never rise again. You are bound by your past." Dios is powerfully casting it into the deepest sea, never to be seen again. Dios is not limited by what has limited you in the past, by your perceived weaknesses or failures. He is not intimidated by your past, no matter how broken or messy it may seem, nor is He discouraged by your present weakness or your feelings of inadequacy. In fact, that very weakness, that very vulnerability, is precisely the canvas upon which He loves to paint the most magnificent masterpiece of His strength, showcasing His glory. He purposefully chooses the broken, the battered, the overlooked, and the tired for His divine purposes. Because when He lifts them up, when He raises them to a place of prominence and purpose, no one, absolutely no one, can claim it was human strength or ability that did it. It becomes a pure, undeniable testimony that draws all eyes back to the heavens and declares, surely this was the mighty, miraculous hand of Dios. And now, my friend, prepare yourself, for He is about to do something in your life that will leave no room for doubt, no space for questioning His power or His love. What He is preparing to release over you will powerfully shut the mouth of every critic, every skeptic, every voice that questioned whether you would ever make it out of your struggle. He is preparing to do, as it says so magnificently in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20, exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, surpassing every expectation, every prayer, every dream. And this is not just a promise reserved for the next life, for some distant heaven. This is for here, for now, in this present moment, in the tangible reality of your daily existence. You are not waiting for hope to magically find you anymore, for a fleeting feeling to arrive. Hope, in the very person of Jesus Christ, is standing at the door of your heart, persistently and lovingly knocking, waiting for your invitation. Open your heart wide and let Him in. Let Him fill every empty space. Because hope is not a fantasy, a mere wishful thinking. It is a spiritual force, active, powerful, and transformative. And when Deus fills your life with this divine hope, everything changes, everything is transformed. The vibrant colors return to your world, dispelling the grayness. The suffocating heaviness lifts, replaced by lightness. You begin to dream again, to breathe deeply again, and to believe again with a newfound fervor. But this time, your belief is not naive or easily swayed. It is not easily shaken by every wind of doctrine or every challenge that arises. It has been thoroughly tested and proven in the hottest fires of affliction, refined and purified. It has endured the crushing weight of sorrow and loss. It has stood face to face with the abyss of despair and still, against all odds, declared with unyielding conviction, my Dios is still good, He is still on the throne. And that kind of faith, my friend, is unstoppable. That kind of faith shakes the very foundations of hell, causing the enemy to tremble. That kind of faith is precisely what pulls you out of the darkest, most desolate night and into the glorious, radiant dawn of a new day. Understand this profound truth. Your tough time was not a random accident, a cruel twist of fate, or a meaningless detour. It was a sacred divine appointment in the school of endurance, a masterclass designed by heaven itself. Dios was not punishing you for your perceived failures or shortcomings. He was lovingly, purposefully preparing you to carry a greater measure of His profound peace, preparing you to speak with a new level of divine authority, a boldness born of experience, preparing you to effectively help others out of the very same pit that He has now miraculously pulled you from. He has entrusted you with this invaluable, deeply personal experience, not just for your own benefit, but for someone else's ultimate deliverance and freedom. Because when you come out of this trial, this crucible of transformation, and you will with certainty and triumph, you will not just be free from your burdens, you will be divinely equipped. You will have spiritual eyes that can see the suffering in others with profound clarity and empathy, and hands that are ready, willing, and able to lift them up with compassion and strength. You will carry a wisdom that is not merely intellectual, but is deeply wrapped in profound compassion, born of shared experience. And your very presence, your transformed life, will be living proof, a powerful, undeniable testament that tough times do not last forever, but people who are anchored in the unwavering love and power of Dios most certainly do endure and overcome. Every soul who joins this digital ministry with a like or a subscription strengthens the spiritual wall of faith we are building together around the world, creating a global community of hope. If this word has found you today resonating deep within your spirit, it is not by chance or accident, but by divine appointment. I invite you to join this virtual congregation, to continue receiving the nourishing bread of life that Dios has prepared specifically for you in this precise season of your life. It is a season brimming with restoration, renewed hope, and clarified purpose. There are specific seasons in our lives where Dios, in His infinite wisdom, hides us away not to reject us, to abandon us, or to punish us, but specifically to protect what He is meticulously building inside of us, a precious work of grace. He had to gently yet firmly take you out of certain places, certain environments, not because you did not belong or were unworthy, but because the spiritual atmosphere, the unseen environment, was subtly contaminating your growth, hindering your divine development. He had to cut off certain relationships, sever certain attachments, not because you were unlovable or deserving of loneliness, but because those emotional or spiritual attachments were draining your precious spirit, stealing your energy, and distracting you from your vital divine assignment, your true calling. You did not truly lose those things in the way the world perceives loss. You were in fact divinely preserved by a loving, protective Father who saw what was truly at stake. He purposefully separated you so that He could powerfully sanctify you, set you apart for His holy use, because what He is about to release in your life, the new anointing and blessing, required empty space, a vessel prepared and purified. And Dios will not pour new, vibrant wine into old, rigid wineskins. It is a spiritual principle. This is a new day, a new measure of His Spirit, and a new glorious assignment. The old patterns, the old ways, the old things cannot and will not go with you into this promised new season. So now, in this moment of divine transition, you must deliberately make peace with what did not work out as you had hoped, with the shattered dreams and unfulfilled expectations. You must consciously forgive what you cannot fully understand, releasing the need for all the answers. You must bravely release what you can no longer possibly carry, laying down every burden at the foot of the cross. The season has officially, irrevocably shifted. What Dios is about to powerfully place in your hands, the blessings and responsibilities, is too precious, too sacred, too significant to be carried alongside old burdens, old hurts, and old resentments. Dios is saying to your weary heart, with profound love and authority, let it go. Lay it down at my feet. The battle is no longer yours to fight. It is mine, and I have already won it on your behalf. That anxiety you have been wearing like a heavy suit of armor, believing it offered protection, take it off now. That self-doubt you have allowed to guide your decisions, to dictate your path, tear it down, dismantle it completely. That guilt that keeps relentlessly resurrecting your past failures, making you relive them, bury it for good, once and for all. Dios is not calling forth a version of you that simply lived in survival mode, barely existing. He is calling forth a radiant version that is ready to truly live again, fully, passionately, abundantly. The one that knows, with unshakable conviction, that peace can indeed bloom exquisitely, even after the most painful, devastating storm. Listen closely now, not just with your physical ears, but with the deepest, most intuitive parts of your spirit. You can almost feel it, a palpable shift in the atmosphere. The spiritual wind is distinctly changing direction, moving with purpose. The very air around you feels lighter, less dense, less oppressive. The immense weight that has been pressing down on your shoulders for so long, that has burdened your very soul, is beginning to lift, to dissipate, to vanish. That, my friend, is the unmistakable sound of divine movement, of God actively working. That is the very breath of heaven, sweeping through your life, signaling the decisive end of your long season of struggle. It will not always be like this, in constant turmoil. And for you right now, in this precise moment, it emphatically no longer is like this. A clear, definitive line has been drawn in the spirit, marking a boundary. The oppressive darkness has reached its absolute limit, its appointed end. Dios has set a boundary, a divine marker, and declared with an unyielding finality, no more. No more tormenting thoughts, no more paralyzing confusion, no more spiritual drought, no more barrenness in your soul. The dry, parched place in your soul is being flooded, saturated with His living, refreshing water. The barren, unproductive land of your life is about to bloom profusely with new purpose, new life, new dreams. The time of mourning, of sorrow and grief, is being divinely exchanged for a garment of praise, a robe of joy and celebration. And where there was once profound lack, there will now be unprecedented overflow. You may not yet see the full, intricate picture, for God often works in ways we cannot immediately grasp, but trust this undeniable truth: Dios never begins a work that He does not fully intend to finish, to bring to glorious completion. He never starts writing a magnificent story only to leave it half-told, incomplete, or without a triumphant ending. Your life, my friend, is still under divine construction, a masterpiece in progress. And the breathtaking beauty that is about to emerge will not come from worldly success, from external achievements, but from a deep, profound spiritual transformation that radiates from within. You are about to see, with undeniable clarity, why the pain, though agonizing, had to be permitted, why the delay, though frustrating, was absolutely essential for your growth and maturity, why certain doors had to remain stubbornly shut, denying your immediate desires, because had they opened a moment too soon, before you were ready, they would have swallowed you whole, pulling you into something you were unprepared for. But now you have been fortified. Now you have been matured through experience and wisdom. Now you are not just walking aimlessly, you are walking in divine alignment, in perfect step with His will. And that, my friend, is the awesome transformative power of Dios. He does not just end tough times, He transforms them, using them for your ultimate good and His glory. He does not just pull you out of the deep, dark pit of despair. He raises you up to a new, elevated vantage point, giving you a fresh perspective. He sets your feet firmly upon a solid rock, an unshakable foundation, and puts a brand new song of triumph and praise in your mouth. You may have erroneously thought your story was over, that your best days were behind you, but Dios was just getting started with you, preparing you for something grander. And this next chapter of your life is not simply about recovering what you painfully lost, merely getting back to where you were. It is about powerfully discovering what you never even imagined was possible, what you never dared to dream of, a reality beyond your wildest hopes. It is about stepping into the glorious fullness of a life lived under the shadow of the Almighty, enveloped in His presence, not striving anxiously for success, but calmly surrendering to His lead, not worrying endlessly about tomorrow, but joyfully worshiping Him in the present, not fearing what the future holds, but gloriously flourishing in every aspect of your being. There is a sacred stillness that always follows every great storm, a profound calm, and you are standing precisely in it right now, basking in its peace. Not because the relentless winds simply grew tired and dissipated on their own, but because the Master of the winds, Jesus Christ Himself, commanded them with divine authority to cease. Do you truly understand the profound magnitude of what that means for your life, for your future? It means the very same power that governs entire galaxies, that sustains the universe, has just personally and intimately intervened in your life, on your behalf. The same omnipotent force that keeps the sun burning brightly and the vast tumultuous oceans restrained within their boundaries has stepped directly into your personal chaos, your inner turmoil, and drawn a divine line, setting an absolute limit. He has declared, "This far and no further." The relentless turmoil that has worn you thin, that has exhausted your spirit and body, the crushing weight that has made it difficult, even impossible to breathe. It is lifting now, definitively, because Dios has spoken. And when Dios speaks, the entire universe, visible and invisible, must respond in immediate obedience. When Dios declares the end of your tough time, every demonic scheme, every spiritual opposition, every delay that once stood firm and unyielding, must bow to his supreme, unchallengeable authority. This is not a fragile hope, easily shattered. This is not a distant dream you are merely trying to convince yourself to believe in. This is divine certainty, an absolute truth from the heart of God. You are not here by mere coincidence, a random happenstance. You are not hearing these potent words by accident, a stroke of luck. Dios himself ordained this very moment, this divine encounter, before the very foundation of the world, because he knew with perfect foreknowledge that you would reach the very edge of your endurance. He knew you would be moments away from giving up, from throwing in the towel. He knew your soul would cry out silently, desperately, in the deepest part of the night, "How much longer, O Lord? When will this end?" And right at that breaking point, at the precipice of despair, he meticulously scheduled a divine intervention, a message just for you. You did not find this message through your own searching or effort. This message powerfully found you, reaching out to you. It came to you like a clear, resonant trumpet call in the spiritual wilderness, like a refreshing stream of living water in a dry and thirsty land, quenching your parched soul. Because Dios refuses to let you quit or surrender in the valley, in the midst of your struggle, when he has meticulously prepared a glorious mountain of victory for you to climb, to conquer, and to stand upon. He is not just passively watching your struggle from afar, from a distant realm. He is stepping right into it, intimately, powerfully, personally. And when he steps in, everything shifts, irrevocably and for your good. Not just the obvious, external things that everyone can see. Even the unseen, the unnoticed, the silent, inner wars that no one else in the world knows you fight, the battles within your own mind and heart. Those are being silenced now, brought to an end by his presence, because the toughest, most brutal battle was not always outside of you, against external foes. The most difficult war has often been raging fiercely inside your own soul, a constant struggle. You have smiled when you were crumbling on the inside. You have prayed through clenched teeth, with desperate, agonizing pleas. You have fought off the relentless attacks of fear with trembling hands, yet you held on. And you have courageously kept going, one step at a time. Not because you were fearless or perfectly strong, but because something deep within you, the very spirit of Dios himself, refused to surrender to the darkness, refused to let go of hope. That indwelling spirit was powerfully preserving you, carrying you through, fighting unseen battles in heavenly realms that you could not even perceive. And now, precisely now, comes the divine reward. Not the kind of fleeting reward that man can give, but the eternal, profound kind only Dios can deliver. Peace that does not depend on external outcomes or favorable circumstances. Joy that does not need a reason or an explanation. It springs from his presence. And strength that comes unexpectedly in the sacred stillness of his unwavering presence. Dios is powerfully shifting you into a realm of supernatural provision, a dimension of divine favor and blessing. Where you once labored and toiled with little result, with minimal fruit for your efforts, now you will see his undeniable favor open doors that no man can shut, making a way where there was no way. Where doors were once slammed in your face, met with rejection and disappointment, now they will swing open wide almost effortlessly before you even have a chance to knock. Not because you have suddenly earned it through your own increased efforts, but because you have faithfully endured, because you trusted Him through the fire. Because when others took the easy path, when they gave up and turned back, you stayed in the refining fire, enduring the heat, and you trusted Dios against all odds to bring you out triumphant. And He did not forget your faithfulness, not for a moment. He did not overlook your quiet perseverance, your unwavering trust. He saw it all, the long nights of wrestling, the silent tears that fell, the quiet courage that kept you going. And now He is honoring that holy perseverance with a powerful, undeniable release of blessing and favor. What Dios is doing in your life now is not simply about your temporary comfort or ease. It is more profoundly about your divine calling. He did not let you survive just so you could passively rest in a life of quiet anonymity. He let you endure so you could carry something sacred, something profoundly significant for His eternal kingdom. The wisdom you gained in the spiritual wilderness, in your time of testing, will become powerful healing for countless others who are now walking through similar trials. The deep insight you were given in isolation, in your moments of profound solitude, will become crucial guidance for the broken, the lost, and the hurting. You are now a vessel purified and prepared, carrying His radiant light. And that light was not merely lit in a time of ease and convenience. It was forged and intensified in the deepest darkness, in the crucible of your suffering. So do not diminish what you now carry, the spiritual authority and anointing that flows from your life. Do not downplay the spiritual oil that now flows from your life, a testament to His grace. It is costly oil, precious and valuable, pressed from the pain you endured, refined by the crucible of time, and poured out generously by the benevolent hand of Dios Himself. And you need to know this today, with absolute certainty. Nothing that was stolen from you, nothing that was taken or lost, is truly gone for good, beyond His power to restore. The Dios who ends tough times is the very same Dios who powerfully restores what was lost, multiplying it beyond recognition. And when He restores, He does so with divine interest, with compound blessings. He multiplies what you thought was gone forever, bringing it back in greater measure. As Isaiah chapter 61 verse 3 beautifully promises, He gives beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, and the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. He does not just simply replace what was lost, He profoundly upgrades it. And what is coming, what He is bringing into your life, will not look like what you lost. It will be undeniably better, infinitely richer, and immeasurably deeper, because it will come wrapped in His profound, unshakable peace. And anything that costs you your peace, your inner tranquility, is far too expensive, far too burdensome for this next glorious chapter of your life. Right now, in this very moment, the immense weight is tangibly lifting. The confusing fog that obscured your path is clearing, revealing new direction. You may not feel it all at once, like a sudden earthquake, but do not mistake slow, gentle healing for no healing at all. Dios often works in quiet, steady movements with divine precision and patience. Mountains do not shift with a loud, sudden bang. They often shift with a deep, powerful groan that reverberates from the earth's core, signaling immense change. And your life, my friend, is groaning into divine alignment, repositioning itself according to His perfect will. The ground beneath your feet is stabilizing, becoming firm and secure. The clamorous noise of the painful past is steadily fading, and the clear, gentle voice of your shepherd, your guide, is growing clearer and more distinct. He is not yelling now, He is softly whispering, because now that the storm has decisively passed, now that the chaos has ceased, he can speak in gentle, reassuring tones again, and you can truly hear him. And what precisely is he saying in these tender whispers, resonating deep within your heart? Come forth. Rise up from the dust of disappointment. Breathe again, deeply, fully. Smile again. Let joy return to your face. Dream again, with boundless possibility. Walk boldly and confidently into this new season, for it has already begun, irrevocably. Let go of the insidious guilt that falsely says you do not deserve this blessing, that you are unworthy. Let go of the crippling shame that still tries to chain you to the person you were in the past, to your failures and mistakes. Let go of the pervasive self-doubt that incessantly argues with your God-given destiny, trying to derail your purpose. Dios has already judged you worthy, not by your flawed works or accomplishments, but by your humble endurance in Him, by your unwavering faith. He looked at your pain, your agony, and He saw profound perseverance, a spirit that refused to quit. He saw faith, even a tiny mustard seed of it. And faith, my friend, moves the very heart of Dios. Faith breaks chains that human strength cannot. Faith opens the windows of heaven, releasing blessings. You are not weak for feeling weary. You are in fact mighty for not giving up, for holding on to Him. And now Dios is powerfully rewarding that holy tenacity, that refusal to surrender, with a profound transformation, not just of your external situation, but of your very identity, your inner being. You are not just someone who merely went through a storm, who endured a difficult season. You are someone who has undeniably emerged from it, purified and strengthened, clothed in His majestic strength, anointed by the struggle itself, and appointed for greater things, for higher purposes. The pain you endured was not for nothing. Every moment had purpose. The weight you carried, though crushing, was not wasted. It served a divine design. Dios is too intentional, too sovereign, too perfect to let a single moment of your suffering be in vain without meaning. He is the master builder, the divine architect of your life. And every brick of hardship, every painful experience was laid with divine precision, meticulously chosen for a purpose. Every tear you cried that seemed to evaporate into nothingness was counted and collected in His bottle. Every night you spent staring at the ceiling, begging for answers, wrestling with your thoughts, was heard in heaven, deeply acknowledged. And now He is powerfully answering. Not always with lengthy logical explanations, but with glorious restoration, with undeniable manifestations of His goodness. Because when Dios answers, He does not always explain what He was doing behind the scenes. He shows you, through His mighty works, why it all had to be done, why it was necessary for your ultimate good. You are about to walk into answers that do not come in mere words, but in profound, awe-inspiring wonders, miracles that defy explanation. You are about to live the very reason for your difficult season, for your painful journey. The questions that once screamed in your soul, demanding answers, will now humbly bow to the profound peace that comes when Dios sovereignly shifts the entire atmosphere around you. You have been faithful over a few things, humble and consistent, and now He is making you ruler over much, entrusting you with greater responsibility and blessing. Not to make you boastful or arrogant in your own strength, but to make you abundantly fruitful for His eternal kingdom, bringing Him glory. Your survival, your perseverance was not for you alone, for your personal comfort. It was for the ones who will follow your footsteps, the ones who are in the fire right now, desperate, hoping someone, anyone, can show them that the darkness does not last forever, that there is hope. And you, my friend, you will show them, not with well-crafted, eloquent sermons from a pulpit, but with your very scars, living testaments of God's power. Not with abstract theological theory, but but with the quiet, powerful authority of experience, of having been through it and come out. You have become a living message of Dios's boundless mercy, a walking, breathing example that the fire may rage fiercely, but it cannot consume what Dios has miraculously preserved and protected. You are not marked by what tried to kill you. You are eternally marked by the loving, powerful hand that kept you alive, sustained you, and brought you through. There were countless moments in the depths of your struggle when you almost broke, when you felt you could not take another step. There were times you questioned if you truly had the strength, the will, the resilience to make it one more day, to face another morning. But look at you now, my triumphant friend. You are still standing, firmly planted, unyielding. And it is not by your own doing, not by your sheer willpower. You are standing because Dios himself held you, supported you, sustained you when you were too weak, too exhausted to hold yourself up. And now he is not just holding you, he is lifting you, elevating you to a higher plane, pushing you powerfully into the divine purpose that was seemingly buried beneath all the chaos, the pain, the confusion. He is bringing it to the surface now, like a priceless treasure, rising from the unfathomable depths of the sea, revealed for all to see. And when Dios reveals purpose, when he brings it forth, no enemy, no opposition, no power of hell can ever bury it again, can ever steal what he has ordained for your life. What you are walking into now is not open for negotiation or debate. It is sealed by an unchangeable divine decree from the very throne of heaven, an eternal promise. There is a spiritual momentum building powerfully in your favor, gathering strength and speed. You may not feel it fully tangibly in the natural realm yet, for spiritual realities often precede physical manifestation. But something has irrevocably, profoundly shifted in the unseen, in the spiritual atmosphere around you. Dios does not wait for perfect circumstances to move or to act. He speaks things into existence, creates realities long before you see the physical evidence of them. And today he is speaking acceleration over your life, a divine quickening. You have crawled for long enough, moving slowly through the wilderness. You have wept for long enough, mourning your losses. Now comes the season of swift, miraculous progress, of perfect divine alignment, and of unexpected overflowing blessings. The people who rejected you, who looked down on you, who abandoned you, will watch from a distance, perhaps with regret, as you powerfully rise. The doors that were once firmly locked against you, denying you access, will swing open wide without any human explanation, without your effort. Opportunities you did not chase, did not even seek, will begin to actively chase you, pursuing you with divine favor. Not because you manipulated anything or schemed for advantage, but because you trusted everything, every single detail of your life, to Dios. This is the profound, liberating power of surrender. It actively invites the supernatural. It opens the heavens. It allows Dios to write your magnificent story without interruption, without interference, perfectly. And when he writes, when he authors the next chapter of your life, he writes with the fire of his Spirit. He writes with unmistakable favor, a divine mark upon you. He writes in ways that man cannot erase, cannot alter, cannot diminish. What he is about to release over your life will not require you to compete for it with others. You will not need to strive tirelessly for it, to beg for it, or to prove yourself worthy of it through your own merits. You simply need to receive it with an open, receptive heart, a spirit willing to trust. It is coming because he faithfully promised it. It is arriving because he sovereignly ordained it, perfectly timed. And it is irrevocably yours because he called you by name when no one else saw your intrinsic value, when others overlooked you. When others walked past you, dismissing your pain, when life itself seemed to overlook your struggles, when friends turned away in your hour of need, Dios was there, calling you his own, claiming you as his precious child. And when Dios claims you, when he sets his mark upon you, everything connected to you, every aspect of your life, must come under his divine order and authority. That means no more disorder in your spirit, no more confusion clouding your mind, no more chaos raging in your emotion. Peace is claiming your atmosphere now, settling deeply. Clarity is flooding your path, illuminating your next steps. Assurance, firm and unshakable, is being planted precisely where doubt once grew, taking root and flourishing. And do not be surprised, my friend, when things that once brought you crippling fear, paralyzing you with dread, no longer have any power or grip over you. DOS is actively rewiring your spiritual reactions, reprogramming your responses to adversity. He is powerfully renewing your mind, transforming your thought patterns. The old triggers, the old wounds that used to send you spiraling, are losing their grip, their power diminishing. The painful past is losing its ability to sting, its venom extracted. You will no longer be manipulated or controlled by painful memories. Their hold is broken. You will not be tormented by the endless what-ifs, the anxious speculations about the future. The tough time no longer defines you. It does not dictate your identity. DOS has declared a new identity over you, an eternal truth. You are victorious. You are chosen. You are secure in him. Some people around you, those who only knew your past, may not understand this profound shift. They knew you by your struggle. They identified you by your battles, by your pain. But DOS is changing your name in the spirit, giving you a new designation. No longer burdened, no longer forgotten, no longer broken. He is calling you redeemed, strengthened, restored. And when DOS names you, that name carries divine authority. It carries supernatural protection, and it carries undeniable destiny. The labels that life, that people, that circumstances unjustly stuck on you are falling off like dust, powerless and meaningless. The negative words that others spoke over you, whether intentionally or carelessly, are being powerfully reversed in the eternal courts of heaven, their curses broken. The cycles of pain and disappointment are ending. The generational patterns that relentlessly tried to repeat themselves through your life, binding your lineage, are being decisively interrupted by the mighty intervening power of Dios's hand. This, my friend, is your divine reset, a holy reset, initiated by God himself. Dios is not just delivering you from your personal struggle, he is delivering your entire bloodline, breaking the chains that have afflicted your family for years, for generations. He is cutting off what has plagued your ancestors, stopping the repetition of pain, of sorrow, of limitation. You are the interruption. You are the shift in your family's history. You are the living proof that when Dios steps into a family line, when he intervenes, nothing, absolutely nothing, stays the same. Your future will not mirror your past. It will be gloriously different. The trauma stops with you. The limitation ends with you. The fear dies here today. And from this day forward, a new legacy, a legacy of faith, hope, and victory begins for you and for those who follow you. One built not on mere survival, but on supernatural strength. One fueled not by crippling fear, but by unwavering, audacious faith in the living God. And now, as the dust settles around you, as the intense fire of affliction mercifully fades behind you, you must understand this profound truth. Internalize it completely. You are stepping into a holy moment, a divine crossing over, a threshold of transformation. The wilderness season, with all its hardship and barrenness, is undeniably behind you. The silence that tormented you, the struggle that exhausted you, the shadows that pursued you, they are no longer your portion, no longer your reality. God is drawing a clear, undeniable line in your life, a demarcation point, a line that marks the end of confusion and the glorious beginning of clarity, a line between who you were in the fire, battered and weary, and who you are emerging as in the aftermath of His powerful deliverance, refined and resolute. This is not just about being rescued from peril, it is about being magnificently revealed, unveiled in your true identity, because the fire did more than merely test you. It powerfully uncovered you, stripping away all pretense. It burned away what was false, what was superficial, what was not truly you. It stripped off what was weak, what was fragile, what hindered your progress. And what remains now after the refining is pure. It is refined, it is strong, and it is ready for His purpose. You have been made new, completely remade by His grace. And what does restores, He also reassigns. He gives it a new, higher purpose. You are not simply returning to where you were before the trial. You are powerfully rising into who you were always meant to be, into your divine destiny. Dios has been meticulously building a foundation beneath you, a bedrock of truth and grace that you could not see or perceive while you were weeping, while you were struggling in the darkness. But it was a foundation that has been holding you steady, securely all along, preventing your collapse. That foundation is faith. Not the shallow, superficial kind of faith that shouts with confidence on the mountaintop but falls apart in the desolate valley. No, this is deep faith, gritty faith, weathered faith, the kind that cannot be shaken because it was powerfully born in the midst of the fiercest storm, forged in adversity. And now that faith, that precious, proven faith, is about to produce abundant, glorious fruit, a harvest beyond measure. Dios did not just preserve you to merely survive, to simply exist. He preserved you, nurtured you, and brought you through so that through you, through your living testimony, countless others would find hope, would find their way. There is a profound purpose to this recovery, a divine reason. There is a sacred mission waiting for you on the other side of this miracle. He did not bring you out of the fire to hide you away, to keep you in obscurity. He brought you out to shine brilliantly through you, radiating His light and glory. You are no longer hidden. Heaven is calling you visible. You are no longer overlooked or forgotten. Dios is intentionally putting a powerful spotlight on what He has so marvelously done in your life, not so you can boast in yourself, but so you can humbly boast in Him alone, giving Him all the glory. What comes next in this new season will require a holy boldness, not arrogance, not pride, but a holy, confident boldness that comes from intimately knowing that Dios is the one who graciously opened the door for you. And if He opened it with His divine authority, no man, no power, no demon can possibly shut it again. You do not need to explain this new glorious season to those who were not with you in the last one, who did not understand your journey. You do not need validation or approval from the voices that did not encourage you, that did not lift you up when you were down and struggling. Dios is your ultimate validation. His undeniable presence is your complete approval. His manifest favor is your irrefutable evidence. So walk powerfully forward, not with hesitation or timid steps, but with a holy, unshakable confidence, knowing whose you are and who walks with you. The same Dios who brought you out of the fire is now going ahead of you, clearing the path, making straight the crooked places. And every single step you take in obedience, in faith, is a powerful declaration, a resounding proclamation that your tough time is over, irrevocably, and your time of overflow, of divine abundance has begun. And if you truly believe that your time of overflow is here, now I invite you to declare it, to seal it in the Spirit, by typing overflow in the comments, making it a public testimony. Do not be surprised, my friend, when restoration comes from places you never expected, from sources you never anticipated, defying all human logic. Do not limit how Dios can move, how He can work, how He can deliver. What you lost in years, in decades of struggle, He can miraculously restore in moments, in an instant. What you thought was gone forever, beyond any hope of recovery, He can powerfully resurrect with a single life-giving word. He is not bound by human timelines or earthly logic. His power transcends all such limitations. One touch from Dios can shift decades of damage, undo years of pain, and erase generations of brokenness. One decision made in the Spirit, one moment of surrender, can reverse a lifetime of pain and regret. And that, my friend, is precisely what He is doing for you right now, in this sacred hour. You may not see the full, complete picture yet, but you can undeniably sense it, a stirring deep within your soul. You feel the atmosphere around you starting to change, transforming. You feel the immense weight on your shoulders beginning to lift, releasing its hold. That, my friend, is the unmistakable sound of breakthrough. That is the sound of chains, spiritual and emotional, falling broken to the ground. That is the sound of heaven leaning in, bestowing its favor upon you, its precious child. This is the season where you will not have to chase relentlessly after what Dios has already assigned to you, what He has ordained for your life. You will not have to strive endlessly for what is already truly yours by inheritance in Christ, by divine right. You simply need to stand. Stand firmly in His truth, unshaken by doubt. Stand in unwavering obedience to His voice. Stand in radical, unyielding faith, trusting His every promise. The tough time, the challenging season, may have rigorously taught you how to survive, how to simply exist through adversity. But this new season, this glorious chapter, is going to powerfully teach you how to thrive, how to flourish abundantly in His presence. And thriving in Dios's presence means living without the constant, gnawing fear of the next battle, without anxiously waiting for the next disappointment to strike. It means you begin to breathe with ease again, with a lightness of spirit that had been absent. You will laugh again, not nervously or out of obligation, but freely, genuinely, from the deepest depths of your soul, a true expression of joy. You will love again, not cautiously or guardedly, but fully, fearlessly, with an open and trusting heart. That, my friend, is what Dios is giving back to you, life and life more abundantly, overflowing with His grace. There is a holy wind blowing now, a refreshing breeze from heaven. Can you truly feel it stirring within your spirit? It is the wind of the Holy Spirit, and it is powerfully carrying you forward, propelling you into your destiny. You are not walking alone. His presence is with you always. You are not hoping blindly. You are moving in the undeniable rhythm of Dios's eternal promise. And that promise, firm and unyielding, is that He will faithfully complete the good work He started in you, bringing it to glorious perfection, that He will uphold you with His righteous right hand, sustaining you through every challenge, that He will lead you into green pastures, into seasons of refreshment and nourishment, even if all you have known are barren, desolate valleys. The ground of your life may still be wet with your tears, with the residue of your past pain, but beautiful flowers of hope, of joy, of new life are now blooming profusely from that very same soil, transformed. Joy is powerfully rising from your sorrow, like a phoenix from the ashes. Peace is being poured liberally and generously into every cracked and broken place in your spirit, sealing your wounds. Dios is turning your mourning into dancing, not as a poetic theory, but as a living, tangible reality in your life. Your life is about to sing a brand new song, a song not written by your pain, not by your past, but by His immutable promise, a melody of redemption. So lift up your head, dear one. Straighten your spine, shed the slouch of defeat. Roll your shoulders back and stand tall with divine confidence, not because of pride in yourself, but because of a deep, unshakable confidence in the one who has never ever failed you and never will. If He brought you out through such a trial, it is because He is not done showing off His majestic power and His boundless love in your life. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are profoundly favored, divinely chosen, specifically called, and your assignment, your purpose, did not end in the fire. It powerfully began there, ignited by the heat. This is not the end of your story, a final closing chapter. It is the magnificent start of a brand new volume, a fresh narrative written by the hand of God. And every single page from this point forward will be marked by the unmistakable, undeniable evidence of Dios's hand, His grace, His intervention. The tough time was undeniably real. It was painful, but the breakthrough is even more real, more substantial, more glorious. It has weight, it has glory, and it has your name specifically, triumphantly written all over it. You are walking out of the fire, not empty-handed, but carrying the glorious spoils of a great victory, trophies of grace. You are stepping out not as a victim of circumstance, but as a consecrated vessel, purified and prepared for His use. Dios is about to display through you, through your transformed life, what true endurance, coupled with unyielding faith, truly produces. He is about to make a public spectacle of the enemy's utter failure in your life, exposing his powerlessness. The very trial that was meant to take you out, to silence you, to destroy you, has now become the undeniable, irrefutable proof that Dios still delivers, that He still reigns supreme, and that He still powerfully lifts the lowly and exalts the humble. Your life will be a living banner of hope, unfurled for all the world to see, that triumphantly shouts to a watching world, Dios still speaks, Dios still heals, Dios still answers prayer. You have been quiet long enough, enduring in silence. Now it is your divinely appointed time to testify, not with mere words, but with the undeniable evidence of a life that has been completely, miraculously transformed by His enduring amor, His unconditional love. And now, as you stand at the sacred threshold of this divine turning point, this momentous transition, let this profound truth settle deep within your spirit, taking root and flourishing. Dios has authoritatively declared the end of your tough time, and all of heaven, all the angelic hosts, has responded with resounding affirmation. What was meant to break you has only made you bolder, more resolute. What tried relentlessly to silence your voice, to suppress your spirit, has only strengthened your voice, empowering you to speak with greater authority. The season of suffering, with all its pain, has now fully fulfilled its glorious purpose in your life. And now, by the absolute authority of Dios's unchanging word, you are being powerfully released into a season of glorious restoration, of profound healing, of unprecedented favor. This is not just relief from pain, it is redemption, a reclaiming of all that was lost. It is not just an escape from hardship, it is an elevation, a lifting to a higher calling and purpose. You are not walking out empty-handed, with nothing to show for your journey. You are walking out wiser, stronger, filled with a new profound clarity, and majestically clothed in His glory, reflecting His light. Look back only to see with gratitude and awe how far Dios has brought you, how faithfully He has carried you. Look forward with an unshakable knowing that what lies ahead carries His divine backing, His unwavering support, His supernatural provision. The doors that are opening before you that seemed impossible before are not there by chance or human effort. They are divine assignments specifically designed for you. The profound peace that is filling your heart, displacing all anxiety, is not temporary or fleeting. It is an eternal gift, purchased for you by the precious blood of Christ, a lasting inheritance. You will no longer walk in survival mode, perpetually trying to just get by. You will walk with confidence and purpose in your sacred divine assignment. Dios is not just changing your external circumstances, He is powerfully changing you from the inside out, transforming your very core. This is your time to rise, not in your own depleted strength, but in the full, unshakable assurance that Dios has already gone before you, cleared the path, and made the crooked places straight. What was hard will become your powerful testimony. What was heavy will now feel light, in the glorious liberating presence of the Almighty. The battle is definitively over. The new season has gloriously begun. Dios has spoken, and it is so. It is finished.